I'm a part of the government, so I stand by whatever decision the Home Ministry took at that stage. But a slightly different perspective. I have not the least doubt. So the issue of ban will always be a matter of a debate. In fact, in the Justice J.S. Verma Memorial Lecture, I had myself commented that in today's world, a ban or a censorship doesn't work because technology defies it. So that's been conventionally my view. But having said that, I do believe that the film seriously violated not only Indian law, but also it violated the law of the country from where BBC is run. For instance, we made a lot of song and dance about the Verma Committee's recommendations after the Nirbhaya rape case. We amended our laws. Now, having amended our laws, we had earlier amended it at one stage, we made radical amendments now. Any film, and I am on two basic principles. One, should the film, by some methodology of shooting the film, have disclosed the photograph and the name of the victim. It's an offence under section 228 capital A of India, Penal Code. Now let's discard the Verma Committee recommendations on amending. So the sympathy was only when the rape took place. But when you implement it, the same set of activists who wanted that to be implemented now say, why are you stopping it? Now not one of them has answered, how could the BBC film show a photograph of the girl and give her name? It's in clear violation of law. If an Indian producer had done it, I have no doubt the Indian producer would have been prosecuted in India. Two, I am both on propriety and law of allowing a forum to be made available to a rapist during the pendency of his appeal and making this platform available to him to argue why he is not guilty. At least BBC should not have done that. The accused's appeal is still pending in the Supreme Court. And to provide a forum where he comes up and says, I have not seen the film, but from what I've read in the newspaper, I was on the wheel, this was going on, and gave horrid details. On propriety, I think such a platform should not have been made available to him. Certainly not by BBC. And two, if in a British crime, the BBC had done it, the courts in England would have restrained them. And the case is the famous House of Lords judgment in the thalidomide case, where the Sunday Times said we are carrying on a campaign so that the victims get more compensation. And they said, sorry, you are influencing the trial and the appeal. We won't allow you to... So Sunday Times was restrained from publishing anything on the thalidomide case. So I think BBC on both counts has violated the law both in India and in England. Merely because it's BBC, it's ironical that the same set of activists who wanted the implementation of the Verma Committee recommendations preached its violation.
Can I get Bombay?
Now, you've said something on the censor board. You see, a censor board, first of all, my policy is not to interfere with the censor board. I read about these recent controversies, some comments made by certain members. So I had requested my MOS, who spends a lot more time than me on the ministry, to go there and meet them. And a very clear message has been conveyed that this is a certifying agency. You have to certify keeping in mind the guidelines that exist, and we don't want any of these unnecessary controversies. As far as the earlier censor board was concerned, with regard to that film, a controversy had taken up. I do believe that everything that they mentioned, that there is interference of the ministry and so on, certainly I can tell you, neither the earlier censor board nor the present one, I have ever spoken or allowed anybody to speak to them about what to certify, what not to certify. I treat it as a certifying process. There is a appeal to a judicial body. We've created a judicial tribunal with a retired lady judge with a very high reputation who heads it. And if anybody is aggrieved, they can go to that tribunal. The tribunal is functioning well. This is in contradistinction to what was happening in the past, where the appeal was to be heard by a group of political activists. That was the appeal tribunal over the censor board.